Okay, hey guys. So we're here to do one of two videos for today, and hopefully I can get them both done and uploaded by the end of the day. Okay. And said God, so Wayomer or Wayomir, Elohim, remember that's the plural, right? Which means more than one. Okay. Talking about the essence of the Trinity, plural. El, right? Jacob, to Jacob. So God says to Jacob, arise, meaning wake up, and go up to Bethel and dwell there in Bethel and make there an altar to God. So basically make an altar to me. Okay. Now notice something here. This God, Elohim, right, is plural, which means what? Singular. I mean plural, meaning many, right? Same word, God, right? Plural. This God right here is what? Singular. Right? So literally, God the Trinity is telling Jacob to get up and go make there an altar to one of the Trinity, not all of the Trinity, but one of the Trinity, who appeared to you when you fled from the face of Esau. Okay? Now that would likely be Jesus, your brother, and said Jacob to your household, to his household, and to all who were with him, put away the foreign gods, Elohi, right? Again, plural, multiple ones, right? That are among you, and purify yourselves and change your garments, your clothes. Then let us arise and go up to Bethel, and I will make there an altar to God, right? Singular, so one of the Trinity, who answered me in the day of my distress, and has been with me in the way which I have gone, right? So they gave to Jacob unto all gods foreign that were in their hands, and the earrings that were in their ears, and hid them, Jacob, under the terebinth tree that was by Shechem, right? That would be the place, not the person. Okay. Located between a valley in Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim, right? 54 kilometers north of Jerusalem, right? And they journeyed, and was the terror of God upon them. So the terror of God, he taught of God, he taught Elohim, terror or fear, right, of God, was upon the cities that were all around them. And not did they pursue after the sons of Jacob, right? So in other words, this is talking about an actual fear of God, not let me revere and honor God, as in some other verses would say. Okay. So came Jacob to Luz, which is in the land of Canaan, that is Bethel, he and all the people who were with him. He built there an altar and called the place El Bethel, because there appeared to him God, plural, right? Ha Elohim, when he fled the face of his brother and died, right? So when he fled, so now we get more context, right? Plural, when God met with him, right? But he's saying make an altar to one of the Trinity. And died Deborah, nurse of Rebekah, and she was buried below Bethel, okay, under the oak. So was called the name Elon Bachut, Elon Bachut, meaning oak of weeping, site of Deborah, Deborah, which is Rebekah's nurse, site of her grave in Bethel. Okay. And appeared God, Elohim, the Trinity again, to Jacob again when he came from Padan Aram, and blessed him, and said to him, God, plural, by Elohim, your name is Jacob not, meaning you're no longer going to be Jacob, shall be called your name anymore, Jacob. For since Israel shall be your name, he so called his name Israel. Okay? And said to him, Elohim, right? So check this out. Check this out. Very, very, very important. Listen. And said to him. So who was talking? Elohim, the Trinity, right? Plural, right? I am God Almighty. So who's a God Almighty? Singular. One of the Trinity. One of the Trinity is God Almighty. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall proceed from you, and kings from your loins shall come, and the land which I gave Abraham and Isaac to you I give, and to your descendants after you I give the land, and went up from him. God, plural, Elohim again, the Trinity, in the place where he talked with him. So set up Jacob a pillar in the place where he talked with him, a pillar of stone, and he poured on it a drink offering, some sort of liquid, and he poured on it oil, that would be actual oil, and he called Jacob the name of this place. So Jacob named this place where he spoke to him, God, where God has spoke to him, right? He named it, of the place where spoke with him God Bethel. Elohim El Bit. Okay? And they journeyed from Bethel, and when there was but a little land to go, so when they were very close to Ephrathah, they travailed, then travailed Rachel. Now that word travailed is not one we usually use, so we have to look at the context. To bear, or to bring forth, or to begot. So in other words, she gave birth, Rachel, and was difficult her labor. So even if we didn't know what this travailed is, we can see it here in the word labor. And it came to pass, when she was hard in labor, that she said to her midwife, not do fear, so don't fear, for also this shall be unto you a son. And so it was, as was departing her soul, for she died. So in other words, she understood that she was about to die because of that pain. Okay. So who was that? Rachel. Okay. She died, and she gave the child to the midwife. Right. And then she called his name Ben Onai. Ben Onai. Right. Ben Onai, which means Ben Onai, son of my sorrow, the name given to Benjamin by Rachel. But his father called his name Benjamin. So she called him Ben Onai, but the dad called him Benjamin. So died Rachel, and she was buried in Ephrath. So now we have two people died, Deborah and Rachel. That is Ephrath, that is Bethlehem, and set up Jacob a pillar. So there's the dad, Jacob, okay, a pillar on her grave. That is the pillar of the grave of Rachel to this day. And journeyed Israel, that would be Jacob, his new name Israel, and pitched his tent beyond the tower of Eder. Okay? And it came to pass when dwelt Israel, that would be Jacob, in the land that went in to Reuben, and lay with Bahu, concubine of his father. So kind of like Concubine would be a similar word to slut, or someone that you just generally have intercourse with just for the need, right? So Jacob went in and he slept with Bahu, concubine of his father, and his father heard about Israel, and were the sons of Jacob 2 and 10, which means 12, right? 12 sons. Let's see, 2 and 10, 12 sons. The sons of Leah, firstborn of Jacob, was Reuben, Simon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, right? That's the children of Leah, right? One of them. Leah had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of the kids, right? And Rachel was Joseph, Benjamin, right? And the sons of so we have Joseph and Benjamin, that's 2. So we have 6 plus 2, that's 8, right? And then the sons of the concubine, the maidservant of Rachel. So now we get an idea of who this Bilhah is more again, right? The maidservant of Rachel. This concubine, Bilhah, had Dan, Naphtali, right? So there's 2 more. Okay, so we have 8. Now we have 10, right? Of Naphtali, that's the 2 of Bilhah. And then the sons of Zilpah, the maidservant of Leah. Now this, if you remember one of the stories before, right? The 2 sisters, Leah and Rachel, they were going, I think it was Leah and Rachel, I believe, was going back and forth and going, hey, I can't have any more kids. Let my maidservant go in and get pregnant by Jacob, right? So that's where these maidservants are coming into play, right? So now we have 6, and then we have 2 from the maidservant of Rachel, and now we have so that's 10, and then we have 2 from Rachel directly, and then from her maidservant was Gad and Asher. So there was 2 more. That makes 12. Okay, these were the sons of Jacob, which were 12, who were born to him in Padan Aram. So Jacob, he got busy. He had 12 kids. Way to go, buddy. Wish I could have that many kids. Whew, I'd be happy. And came Jacob to Isaac. So Jacob goes to Isaac, his father, at Mamre, right, near Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, where had dwelt there Abraham and Isaac. So Isaac being the son of Abraham, Isaac being the dad of Jacob, right, and Esau. And were the days of Isaac, so this tells you how old he was, 100 years and 80 years. So 180 years, right? So breathed his last Isaac. So Isaac breathed his last breath, and he died. And he was gathered to his people. His corpse was collected and taken back to his actual people, being old and full of days. And he buried him, Esau and Jacob. So Esau and Jacob got together and buried him. So that means there was some sort of peace or serenity for a small time. Okay? So there's not much to really relate to you in this particular chapter, except for the fact of the Trinity being revealed time and time again in this chapter. As we've seen with God being plural and then God being singular, right? So you see how even in Genesis, it's plural and singular both for God, okay? So anyway, guys, I will end this end this video, and I will go to Genesis chapter 36 to give that one to you.